Okay everyone, in order to start today's Dhamma talk, you may settle down and be ready to listen. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So bhante viditvana mache mantana lippati tambrumi mahapurisoti soda siddhani machagati. Dear Dhamma friends, so today we started this retreat and you did your practice. Then we had a discussion few hours earlier, and as the final aspect of today's program, we do a Dhamma talk as well. So in a way, you are practicing, but in the meantime, we are as a group discussing the practice. That part is very important. Otherwise, you will be just practicing, but you don't know where you are going. Your practice might be correct, it might be incorrect, you won't know. So a discussion among the group is important. That is how we can identify the proper practice. That is how we can know how to face these situations. So with that idea, today we can discuss certain Dhamma aspects, and for that I have selected a certain Sutta. This one, it's a discussion between the Buddha and a Brahmin. And it is, you can refer to this verse, and it's in Sutta Nipata Parayana Vagga Tissameththeya Manav Pucca. So Tissameththeya is the Brahmin who is discussing with Buddha. And he is asking a question from him. What is the question he is asking? He is asking about the pursuit of happiness. He is asking how to find happiness in this world. That's the question the Buddha was asked. And answering this question, Buddha answered with this verse I mentioned earlier. So bhante viditvana mache mantana lippati tam brumi mahapurisoti soda siddhani machaga. That's the answer Buddha gives. What's the meaning of this? So ubante viditvana, having understood both ends, mache manta nalipati, the wise one does not stick in the middle. Tam brumi mahapurisoti, I call him a great man. So the siddhani machaga, he has transcended the craving in this world. So that's the answer Buddha gives. What's the original question? How to pursue happiness? And this is the answer he is giving. Now all of us, when we think about our lives, we like to be happy. So this is a common question for all of us. How to find happiness in this world? How to be happy in this world? And Buddha's answer is, having understood both ends, the wise one does not stick in the middle. I call him a great man, he has transcended the world. That's the answer Buddha is giving. So if you can behave, if you can practice according to the way Buddha explains here, then you too can find happiness. He is talking about two ends, and he is talking about a middle. That's the answer he is giving. Now the beautiful thing about this sutta is that he is not defining these two ends. He is not defining that. Then he is not defining the middle. So you can interpret this sutta in different ways. That's the beauty of this. Although the Buddha is mentioning two ends, he is not defining what are these two ends. He is mentioning about the middle, but he is not defining what's the middle. So in a way, he is allowing us to interpret in our own way. Now let's say when you read a book, you have lot of imagination. You can interpret this in different ways. But when a movie is done from the book, your imagination is limited. They have defined certain characters, this is him, this is that, they have defined. So your imagination is limited when it comes to a movie. But in a book, you have different ways to interpret, different ways to imagine. So here also, Buddha is not giving the definition of these two ends. He is not giving the definition of the middle. So in a way, we can interpret this according to our own practice. That's the very idea. So we have a couple of sessions today and tomorrow, and we'll try to explain a couple of interpretations to these ends and the middle. Today's idea, I would take time. Now when we think about time, we are so concerned about time. We plan our future. We have certain past memories. We worry about the past. That way, we try to manage our time. We talk a lot about time. Future planning. Maybe tomorrow you have to do these things. You might plan. So we can see we have a strong perception about the time. That's true to everyone. We think about time, we plan ahead. Maybe when it comes to things like goal setting, you might plan 5-10 years ahead into the future. So we have a strong perception about the time factor. Now, when it comes to these two ends, if we define it with time, then we can say one end is the past. Then the other end is the future. And the middle is the present. Now if we put these definitions into the earlier quote, then we can say those two ends, having understood both past and the future, the wise one does not stick into the present. I call him a great man. He has transcended the world. So that way we can define this explanation. And let's say when it comes to time, you plan future, you try to worry about the past, all those things come. But if I ask you, can you step out of the present and can you step into the past? Think about it a moment. Can you step into the past? Or can you step into the future? This world we talk about time travel, but actually you can't step into the past. You can't step into the future. So what is happening is, we are in the present moment, but we are planning the future. We are in the present moment, we are worrying about the past. That's what happens in our mind. It's not like we are actually going to the past or the future. Instead, while being in the present, we worry about the past. While being in the present, we worry about the future. So that's what's happening. You are always in the present moment, but what happens is that in your mind, due to these wandering things, storytelling, fantasizing, it's like you are going to the future, or it's like you are going to the past. What's happening is actually you are in the present, but your mind is somewhere else. So in this practice, let's say, having understood both ends, how to understand the past and the future, the two ends. For that, you have to bring your mind to the present moment. Let's say when you pick the breathing as your primary object, or let's say when you pick the sensations at your feet as your primary object, in a way you are sticking to the middle. That's the middle. The present is the middle. So when you fix your attention to the breathing, you are sticking to the middle. So this has to go step by step. First, you have to stick to the middle in order to understand these two ends, the past and the future. Right? So in a way, by holding on to the breath, by holding on to the steps, or by holding on to the other activities that we are doing, we are sticking to the middle, and as a result, we can understand the past and the future. If you recall our discussion, I mentioned that you should allow those thoughts to come. And by allowing them to come, in a way you understand what are your priorities. Maybe some of you might be planning the future a lot. Maybe some of you might be worrying about the past a lot. So that way you can see how your mind is time after time visiting the past and the future. Usually when you are at a younger age, you mainly focused on the future. When you are an elder, maybe worrying about the past. That's the usual way. At a younger age, we think about the future, all those future planning we do. And towards the end of our life, we start to worry about the past and be frustrated. So that's the natural behavior. Anyway, when you fix your attention to the middle, you start to feel how your mind is going to the past and future. Let's say, if you are a newcomer here, if you are a beginner here, you might feel a lot of current issues coming to your mind. For example, family matters, maybe you have left them at home and you are wondering how they will manage these few days. So you can see these current issues come to your mind. You try to hold on to the present moment. You try to hold on to the breathing. You try to hold on to the walking sensation. But time after time, these things come to your mind and they grab your attention. So in a way, by holding on to the middle, you understand how the past and the future thoughts arise. Our body is the refuge when it comes to holding on to the middle. We hold on to our bodily sensation. We take it as a refuge. Every day your body is breathing all the time. Probably around 23,000 breaths happen in your body daily. So in a way you can anchor yourself to the breathing. Wherever you are, you can anchor yourself to the breathing. Let's say you are seated in meditation, still the breathing happens. You are seated in a bus, still the breathing happens. You are laid down on a bed to sleep, still the breathing happens. So all the time we have the breathing with us. We can anchor ourselves to the breathing and hold on to that. By holding on to that, we are trying to stay present. And whatever the other activities you do, you can notice the bodily sensations that are prominent in those activities. By holding on to those bodily sensations, you hold yourself to the present. That's what we do. So initially, as maybe for a beginner, you feel that your current issues, current matters come to your mind. In a way, these are the surface matters. Whatever the family problems, day-to-day encounters, those are the surface level. First, we start to feel these things. A beginner, a newcomer, they will say that current issues are my problem. That's true to them. But when you keep on practicing, maybe for weeks, maybe for months, maybe for years, when you keep on practicing, then even deeper issues come. For example, your past incidents, maybe past trauma might come to your mind. Right? So those things are hidden in our mind, but we are not allowing them to come to the surface. When you try to be mindful, when you hold on to the present, these things start to come. Initially the surface level things come. But when you continue your practice, it goes deeper and deeper. Even certain incidents that you can't recall, you might recall, and these things start coming in your meditation. So in a way, we have a lot of healing to go through. We have to go through a lot of healing in this process. Maybe certain incidents, we have psychological wounds kind of things in us. These things are not prominent, you can't see them, but they are like shadows that's coming after you. They are coming after you, and wherever you are, they create certain kind of a noise in your mind, like a shadow in your mind. So in a way, when you keep on practicing, when you practice for a long period, you start to go through these healing processes. It's like exposure therapy in psychology, right? Certain incident happen, you are not able to process that incident, you get fearful, you cry, you break down. So exposure therapy, it says that gradually you go through this experience and develop the ability to process it. First, you talk a little about that incident. Maybe next day, extend even further. Within few weeks, few months, you gradually develop the ability to process that incident. Maybe visit that site, the place, recall the whole incident, explain to somebody else. So that way, it's more like a talking therapy that you have to go through, and it's called exposure therapy. Little by little, you get exposed to the incident that you are not able to process. Same goes for the meditation. Little by little, these incidents, they start to come. These thoughts, memories, they start to rush towards you. It's not happening within a day. Maybe in the today's sitting, you might recall certain incident, and few thoughts, images might come to you. But when you continue your practice, when you are deep in your sitting session, these things come time after time. So today you get exposed a little, tomorrow you do a little bit more. That way, maybe for weeks, maybe for months, you might have to go through this healing process. So you can see that understanding these two ends, it takes some time. But gradually you can develop that ability. You are understanding your past incidents better. Today you might understand it in a certain way, but when you do your practice, probably like 1 month into the future, then you understand it even deeper. So this way, gradually, we are going through this healing process. We are experiencing these past incidents. We are healing these psychological wounds within us. And more you do it, you start to feel that you are feeling much better. You are feeling much better, you are feeling much lighter. Maybe the emotional baggage that you have carried for decades gets lighter and lighter. That you can feel maybe like within few weeks of practice. Let's say you start today. If you do daily practice, if you continue it for few weeks, you start to feel that your baggage gets lighter. Right? So you can see towards the path of happiness, little by little we are progressing. We are understanding these two ends. And we are improving our practice based on that. So you can see by anchoring ourselves to the present moment, to the bodily sensation, we stick ourselves to the middle. Little by little we develop that ability. And Buddha says in the second part, the wise does not stick into the middle. So this is the part where the discussions are important. Most people, they think that they have to hold on to the middle so much. Even the breathing, let's say, even in today's discussion, we talked about how to hold on to the breath in a gentle manner. Right? In a way, you have to allow these thoughts to come as well. Among these things, you are holding on to the breath. You shouldn't be having too much attachment towards the breathing. Because we have to let go of the middle as well. That part, most of the yogis doesn't get. They don't like to understand this part. They think that present is stable. Present moment is stable. I should hold on to the present moment. That's the very understanding they have. But if you know the practice, if you develop your practice correctly, you have to understand one day you have to let go of the middle as well, or let go of the present as well. So, in a way we hold on to our breath, but we are holding in a gentle manner. Now I remember a foreigner who came to the monastery and stayed probably like for a couple of months, and he was a surfer. And he was explaining the past, future, present struggle based on his experience of surfing. So he is saying that, on a surfing board, in a way you can feel the wave forming in front of you. More like a barrel appearing in front of you. So that's the future. That's the future appearing in front of you. And from your behind you can feel the wave crashing. So that's the past. That's crashing behind you. And you are stable in the middle. But this stability is also uncertain. On a surfing board you are stable, but that too is unstable. You are in the middle, you are in the present, but that too is unstable in a way. You don't know what is the moment that you will crash. Right? So in a way, we are surfing in the present moment. We feel the future forming in front of us. We see how the past is crashing behind us. We are in the middle, we are in the present, but that present too is unstable. That part is difficult to understand. Most of us, we hold on to the middle. We hold on to it like holding on to our dear life. But Buddha says, if you really want to become wise, then you have to let go of the middle as well. That part, gradually in the practice, you have to develop. Now let's say, in a sitting session or a walking session, some things come to your mind, or some experience you have, a certain kind of a one-of-a-kind experience you have. But in order to accept the next moment, you have to let go of this experience as well. Otherwise, if you keep thinking about this experience in your sitting, what happens is that due to that experience, you are missing the next moment. So in a way, we are holding on to the middle, but we have to hold on in a gentle manner. While letting go, we are holding on to the middle. Whatever the experience we have, in order to accept the next moment, you have to let go of that experience. Otherwise, you'll keep thinking about it, you'll write it in a meditation report, and you'll search it for many years even. I have met yogis, they have had a unique experience probably a decade ago. They had it in a certain place, with a certain teacher. And even after a decade, they are still seeking that very experience. They are saying, I couldn't visit that experience for the second time. I have tried changing the places. I have tried changing the teachers. I have tried changing the practices. But still I couldn't attain it for a second time. So you can see, whatever the experience you have, in order to embrace the next moment, you have to let go of it. That's very important. Otherwise, you will question, you will doubt, you will think about it, and in the process, you miss the present moment more and more. Now, I remember that this Zen story, the disciple is coming to the teacher and he is asking, I had this unique experience in the meditation. It was very nice, colorful, certain colors appeared before me. It was like cloud nine kind of experience. And this disciple is asking from the teacher, what was it? What was that experience? Then the teacher simply answered, it was what it was. Move on. You have to let go of that experience and embrace the next moment. Otherwise, you are thinking about the past incident while being in the present, while being in the meditation. So you can see how we are approaching the present moment in a gentle manner. How we are holding on to the present moment in a gentle manner. And I said earlier that even the present moment is unstable. That's the most important thing. That's why Buddha says the wise does not stick to the middle. He has to let go of the middle as well. Now, usually when we think about the time, most of us say that time is in the present. That's the very idea of even of the practice. Let's say past is dead, future is not born yet. Whatever the time you spend, it's in the present. That's the very idea. But when you try to be really present, when you try to be with the present moment, you start to feel that in a way the present is timeless. It's a timeless moment that we are experiencing. When you are fully present, you can't feel the past, you can't feel the future, and as a result, you lose the perception of time. You have to be thinking about the past and future in order to perceive the time. Otherwise, the time disappears. For example, now we have spent listening to this for few minutes. How do you recall that? You recall that based on the past memory. And we'll be doing this for few more minutes. How do you recall that? You are thinking that this time this will end. So in a way, in order for us to perceive time, we have to have the past and future thinking. Otherwise, if you try to become fully present, then you start to lose the perception of time. That's what's happening. So that's why the present is identified as a timeless moment. You have to have that experience in order to understand. Maybe I'm sure most of you in your meditation you have had that. Even for few seconds you were fully present, and as a result you lost the perception of time. Right? So that way we are gradually developing our practice. We understand how to let go of the middle as well. Past, future, of course, you know that you have to let go, but letting go of the middle is somewhat confusing. You think that the present moment is stable, but when you try to become fully present, you understand it is so unstable. Like the balance of that surfing board. You are balanced, you are surfing, but you don't know when you will crash. That very thing is there. Now let's say in our meditation reports, even walking, sitting, especially the newcomers, they feel that during the walking you plan your meditation report. In your mind the thought appears about how to report this. I should tell like this is the primary object, this is what I have observed. All these thoughts come. So in a way we let go of other thoughts. But you can see due to the practice, certain thoughts, ideas, memories, they appear. But that part initially you have to accept. Otherwise you can't do this practice, no. Otherwise how to write a report? You have to write a report, no. So all those things are important. So in a way, this friction that appears as a part of the practice, all these thoughts about writing a meditation report, these things, we accept that part. For the sake of the practice, we accept those thoughts. We know that these two are thoughts. They too take me away from the present moment. But I have to present a report and somehow get advice. So that part, that friction, for the sake of the practice, we accept. And when you are a beginner, writing a report is important. Getting advice is important. Some of you might wait till you are able to do the perfect report. Most of us are postponing writing our meditation experience, thinking that one day I'll develop the practice and I'll write the perfect report. So you will never get there. That's not a destination that you will reach. Instead, start somewhere. Even that guideline or the template that we gave earlier, it's a rough guideline. That's the starting point for your meditation report. So it might be faulty, it might not have all the information that it should, but that's fine. What's important is you have to start somewhere. You write a report today and you become a bit familiar. Then again you write a report once again in a week. You get more advice. That way, by writing repetitive reports, you develop the ability to write a report properly. So you can see these things, we take them as a part of the practice. Sometimes there is friction due to it. but we are welcoming that friction in order to develop our practice, in order to support our practice. So that thing is important. And little by little, you are developing, you are practicing, again you are reporting your experience. That loop is important. You meditate, you report your experience, you get advice, again you go and meditate. Again you come back and report your experience. That way you have to do. Some of the senior yogis, they would say that they don't have anything to write. They would say that walking session was there, I was present, but I don't recall anything. I was sitting for 30-40 minutes, I was present, but I don't recall anything. What to write, Bhante, in the report? They will ask. That's fine, at least you say that you don't recall anything. That way you write the report, right? In a way, when you talk about your experience, even the listeners who are in the audience, they get motivated, they get encouraged. That part is important. Even after attaining Buddhahood, he was meditating. What to do? Why meditate after attaining? Still, Buddha meditated. Did the walking practice, did the sitting practice. When you refer to those suttas, it explains that for many hours Buddha was walking, doing the walking practice. For many hours he was sitting. So even after attaining Buddhahood, he was meditating, practicing. So that example we too can take. We too should practice, we too should explain, discuss our meditation experience. That's how we can even motivate others. You have to tell your experience, you have to tell that you are able to live with incremental levels of peace. You have attained peace into a certain level, and that is encouraging for the listeners as well. Pursuit of happiness, how to attain happiness in this world, how to attain peace in this world. So it takes time. But when you hear others are meditating, when you hear that they are thriving in meditation, they are experiencers, then you get encouraged. You know that this practice works. You don't have to wait till the next life in order to see it. In this very life, you can develop this and experience it. That's the very idea. So, the present moment, when you are fully present, what happens? Now let's say, usually we have our perception about the time and space. We know that we are seated here. Even when you close your eyes, you know that you are located in this place. And you have a solid idea about the time. I have spent this many hours, I will be doing this many hours, so that type of a solid idea is there. The stronger the perception of time, the more suffering or the friction that you will feel. Stronger perception of time, more suffering that you will experience. For example, let's say someone might be recalling incidents 3-4 years into the past and still complaining about it. For example, some people might tell to you that you said this word to me 3 years ago on a 20th June at this time. Right? So they have a strong memory and they have a strong perception of time. So still this person is suffering due to that incident. Maybe you have already forgotten, but still that person is mad. Still that person is suffering. So you can see, stronger the perception of time, more suffering or more friction that you will experience. Right? So that's the very idea. You have a fixed, solid idea about the location or the space. You have a fixed, solid idea about the time as well. And you feel like it is consistent. You feel like that you have spent all these hours since the early morning. You feel like this was consistent. You feel like this was solid. That type of experience you have when you have a strong perception of time. But let's say when you develop your practice, you start to lose chunks of them. Sometimes you lose the time and space perception. You sit in a meditation, you suddenly wake up, and still you can't figure out where you are. You have to look around and see, okay, I'm here in the meditation center and I'm seated in the meditation hall. So for few moments you lost the space and time factor. Right? So those experiences, we welcome them in the practice. Initially it feels like a mistake or an accident. But little by little we get to know that more we try to be present, more we lose the perception of time. Time is developed due to the past and future. Memory, all those things are related. So all the thoughts, memory, they help us to understand about time. We will say we have spent these hours, these things happen today. Right? So that very idea comes from the past, future, memory and thinking. So when you try to be present, when you try to be fully present, you realize you lose the perception of time. In a way, you have let go of the present or the middle for a few seconds. Again you hold on to it, again the perception of time and space appears. Right? But little by little, few seconds here and there, you start to feel that you are losing chunks of time. In a way, some of you would say it's a sign of a disease, probably dementia, right? In a way, you get closer to peace as well. When you have, let's say, dementia, what happens? Right? You forget. Now, I have seen this documentary on YouTube, and it's probably like a man with 23-second memory. Something like that. The title was something like that. And this person, he can't make new memories. His memory only lasts 20 to 23 seconds. He has the past memories. Those things are fine. But due to this illness, he can't make new memories. The new memories last only for 23 seconds. So you can see this person can't stay at home. He has to get his medication. Early in the morning, okay, I have to take medication. And 23 seconds after, again I have to take medication. Again few minutes after, again I have to take medication. By the morning time it will be over. Right? So this person is in a facility and he has a caretaker. He can't make new memories. He has the old memories. So wife comes to visit him. And he is welcoming his wife in a one-of-a-kind way. Hi darling, where have you been? So many hugs and kisses. He is welcoming his wife. Then this lady goes to the bathroom and again come back. The same kind of welcome. Right? So you can see in a way that person is closer to the present. That person feels less friction. Otherwise, if you have the memory, what will happen? You might recall what this lady has done few days ago. She has done this. I was mad, I was hurt due to her action. All those memories will rush. So in a way, you lose the quality of the present moment due to these past memories. Right? So, but we are not saying or we are not encouraging for you to have dementia. That's not the very idea of this. You get the point. When you have those memories stored, those are the ones that will reduce the quality of your present moment. That will reduce the quality of your life. You can't take or meet this person in a face value. You can't do that because all the past memories rush and they influence you. All the future plans rush and they influence you. But the practitioners, the wise ones, they develop this practice and they are able to let go of the middle as well. For example, let's say you do a walking session, you do a sitting session, you spend 1 hour. Still at the end of 1 hour, you don't have much to recall. That happens to many yogis. They were sure that they were mindful. They were sure that thoughts and certain things came. But at the end of 1 hour, they don't have anything to tell about the past hour. That happens. You walk for 1 hour. You don't have much to recall after the 1 hour. You spend a full day. At the end of the day, you don't have many things in your memory. Let's say you talk to people, you meet certain people, you do all these things, but still at the end of the day, you are peaceful. You don't have much to recall from the day. Right? So that type of experience, the yogis or the meditators, they get. Little by little, they develop the ability to balance that experience. Initially, it comes as a shock. Most people say that they won't be able to work due to this. Most people will say they won't be able to attend to their family matters. They will complain. But I assure you, you will be fine and you will be managing all those things fine. It's just that additional burden or that additional stress that will disappear. So you are fully present, you do whatever you do, but next moment you don't have to bring something to the next moment. That's the very idea. Now I remember one of the meditators, I think that person was living abroad and was explaining a certain incident in their life. It's taking a trip, taking leave from work and traveling for 1 month. That was the very idea. Right? So this person was explaining maybe like 3 years ago, before I started the practice. I remember I took a vacation and I went to this country for 1 month. Right? So this person was saying that 2 weeks before the trip, I start planning. I have to book tickets, pack my luggage, then take leave from work, give responsibilities, plan everything. So all those thoughts come. So this person was in a whole new struggle due to the impending trip or the travel. For 2 weeks, this person was struggling. Right? Then they take the flight, they go on the vacation. On the way, they are thinking about the work or the matters at home. So even during the vacation, this person is wandering and thinking and stressful due to all those thoughts and memories. Then even towards the end of the vacation, again planning going back to work, planning taking a flight again, right? So all those additional burdens, stresses come. And even after arriving home, it takes probably like 2 weeks to recover. 2 weeks of more stress due to the workload, past memories, future worries and all those things. So this person was saying it's better not to take a vacation. That will be much better because this creates so much additional stress. But that's 3 years ago. Now the practice has matured for 3 years and this person was comparing the recent vacation which they took probably like a month ago. And that person was saying that minimal planning was involved. I did the necessary things, but I could feel that my mind isn't planning so much. During the vacation time, I was able to enjoy the vacation, the sceneries, the food, and all those experiences more. Even after coming home, I felt less tired, less stressed, and I could go to work next day. That's a new experience. So this person is saying, my baggage was lighter, the physical baggage, and my emotional baggage was also lighter. With a lighter baggage, I traveled. With a lighter baggage in my mind, I enjoyed all those experiences. So you can see these memories, these thinking, they reduce the quality of our life. You can't be present due to these things. You can't talk to a person without thinking something else in your mind. Probably you are smiling with somebody while hating that person. Probably you are talking to him while trying to murder him. Right? So those thoughts, those ideas, those memories rush into our mind. So our present moment is considerably reduced, the quality of it considerably reduced due to this process. So in a way, when you let go of the past and future, when you let go of the middle as well, then you start to live your life fully. You are fully present, but you lose the perception of time that you have spent. Even the memories are not so strong. Whatever you need, you can recall. Right? It's not like you are losing your memory. The memories are there, but it's not bothering your mind all the time. Whenever you need, you can think, but it's not bothering your peace. That's the very idea. That's how you should be living. That's the way to live. In a way, think about that patient, dementia, right? Whatever it is happening, he is fully embracing that. Meeting his wife, he is fully embracing that moment. But he knows that he has a disease. When somebody else recalls about it, when wife asks, couldn't you recall I was here, I went to the bathroom, then this person gets really agitated and angry. Because he knows that this is a disease and due to the disease, he has lost the memory. But in our practice, we are intentionally doing it and we are trying to welcome it. And we can find a new balance. It's not like you won't be able to live. You will be able to live, but not in this level, or not in this stress level, not in this balance. Instead, you will find a new balance. And that balance will be much more peaceful. You will be embracing the timeless moment, the present moment. And you will be happy and peaceful in it. That's the very idea. So you can see, understanding both ends and letting go of the middle aspect. In a way, you have to let go of the breadth as well. In a way, you have to let go of the steps as well. In a way, you have to let go of the mindfulness aspect. Why? when you are fully present, you don't feel that you are mindful. Most people will say that I was lost for few seconds. Again I came back and I was sitting in a meditation. But during those few seconds, I couldn't reflect that I was there. Only after coming back, I could reflect past few minutes, I was nowhere. It feels like a deep, dreamless sleep. Let's say in a deep, dreamless sleep, can you perceive that you are sleeping? That's not there. Only after waking up, that you will perceive that I was sleeping during this time. Right? So, in a way, the meditation also becomes like that. You were there, but you could perceive only after waking up. So imagine if you try to be fully present, if you develop the ability to be fully present, then you will lose the perception of time. That's why they say the present moment is a timeless moment. That's why Buddha say you have to even let go of the middle as well. If you want to find real peace, then you have to let go of the middle. If you want to find lasting peace, then you have to let go of the middle. That's the very idea. Then imagine one day you go to sleep, a deep, dreamless sleep. And imagine if you don't wake up from it, what will happen? Initially, you might worry that I don't get to experience all these things, I don't get to talk to other people. That's the initial worry that will come to our mind. But when you talk about Nibbana, that's the very blessing. You go into a deep, dreamless sleep and you don't wake up from it. All your troubles, all the worldly friction, worries, they will disappear. Right? So, today we took the very first definition, or one type of a definition, about the two ends and the middle. And I hope the Dhamma talk was useful for your practice.